backward pointer, and Felix comes around and restricting them to just 2. Another good shot there from Craig Emmanuel, but he didn't quite get the timing on this occasion and just getting 2 from it.
Yeah, it was more placement than timing.
Emmanuel, again, he's moved to 32, 63 for 4. And Sammy, he's bowled 1.4 overs, 3 for 13 today. He had 7 wickets before today, so he's at 10 in the tournament so far. Into Emmanuel, who gives him the charge. This delivery outside of a little bit of a length delivery outside of stump. Four more to Craig Emmanuel, 4 more to the Monrepo Stars, the 67 for 4. Craig Emmanuel, he moves to 36. He's on 36 from 28. His partner Kevin Augustine is yet to get off the mark. He hasn't faced a single delivery yet. So a good sort of a move on from the first over, from the previous over from Craig Emmanuel, but not enough for the Monrepo Stars at all.
Certainly they would need some big overs if they are to get anything very competitive. Well, we saw the last delivery there. Mulan Sami on the boundary really misjudging this one and made a really meal out of it. But the Stars, with 12 legal deliveries remaining, these two really need to get a move on.
Kirsten Jules, he moves away from the media center end and he bowls to Kevin. This one is shorter, and Kevin Augustine is putting bringing Craig Emmanuel, who's been there for 28 deliveries, and he's batting on 36. Back on strike is Craig Emmanuel. Monrepo Stars need really some huge overs if they are to get anything respectable and to get themselves into the finals of this tournament. But Kirsten Jules, he will have other ideas. Adjustments being made to the field by Captain Darren Sammy. He brings a third man into the circle. Shot a third man, and backward point is brought onto the boundary as Jules comes into Craig Emmanuel. This one is headed down the leg side. The keeper doesn't collect cleanly, and there's a direct hit, and there's a loud appeal with the umpire is not interested. Direct hit from Michael Shallery in the short fine leg area. The keeper did not collect cleanly on this occasion, and the ball went through to Michael Shallery. Direct hit, but the umpire adjudged Augustine has been moved.
Yes, good backing up there by Kevin Augustine. So wicketkeeper Chauvin Charles did not collect cleanly down the leg side, and immediately he took off for the single and made it quite comfortably.
And those 2 wides brought the score to 70 for 4. Augustine is on strike. Augustine is on strike, and Jules, Kirsten Jules, into Augustine, and Augustine is driving out towards extra cover, and Darren Sammy Field, they come through for a single. And the score moves on to 71. Augustine, and he's doing the right thing, Greg Wilson. I'm trying to give the strike to Craig Emmanuel, but at some point he will have to press the gas as well for the Monrepo Stars. It's Jules into Emmanuel, slower delivery and completely outfoxed Emmanuel outside of stump.
Yes, Jules certainly has been inclined to use the change-up deliveries, and he has used them to good effect.
And then Jules to the back of his, to the top of his mark, and he with Emmanuel taps away. Jules moves into Emmanuel, and Emmanuel is getting a short delivery outside off stump again, not timing cleanly. Back to the bowler, he comes across, skips across, not able to collect cleanly, and they come through for 1. Singles will not hurt the Miko Eagles at this time, Bradley.
Good bowling there by Jules, really not giving Emmanuel the room to really free his arms, and he's continuing to keep a tight rein on the proceedings.
Jules again, 1.4 into Augustine. This one is high high. Merlin Sami settles under it and he drops it. Merlin Sami, he was right there settling under this one and making a meal of it. Probably Tariq Edward coming into his peripheral vision might have impacted him. I'm not sure, but Merlin Sami made a complete meal of this one.
Another slow delivery again there by Christian Jones, and Sami settling, perhaps just overrun the ball slightly, and this one just went through his hands and fell, giving Kevin Augustine a life.
A chance to Kevin Augustine. The Monipu will need all the life that they can get, and they will need all the boundaries that they can get. Kevin Augustine will really need to push on with things there. He gets another short delivery, not able to deal with it cleanly, plays it in towards short mid-wicket region, and moving well. It's Winner Felix who comes around and does the fielding, restricting them to just one. The over number 9 comes to a close, 75 for 4. Kevin Augustine, very, very slow, given in the context of the game. He's 5 from 4 balls. Craig Emmanuel is 37 from 30, and the Monrepo Stars really need a big final over if they are to get anything respectable on the total. Right?
Yes, they would need an over of perhaps 20 plus to have a competitive score on the board. The Eagles, they have really pulled the choke on the Stars, and they are going nowhere. The Stars, if anything, they are just feeding under the pressure.
The pressure is telling on them, and it's Michael Shalry. He's bowled 1 over for 10 so far. He's going to bowl the final over in the innings. And Michael Shalry, he is moving away from the Players Pavilion end and bowling to Augustine. A full delivery. This time he finds the edge. This one is going to Bitful Man. One bounce, Bitfine leg, 1 bounce into the boundary, and 4 runs fortuitous boundary for Kevin Augustine on this occasion, Greg.
Yes, very fortuitous indeed. Really looking to just lap this one around, but just getting the top edge and going to the second long leg boundary for 4. So 4 valuable runs to the total.
79 for 4, a good start to the innings for the Monrepo Stars. They need to follow up with a few more boundaries. A big over is required from them, and Augustine is pulling this one out towards mid-wicket. They come through for 1. The fielder is on it. Augustine wants the second, but it's not on, and Craig Emmanuel sends him back. 1 run is all there will be. It's 80 for 4. Augustine has moved to 10 from 6 balls.
And slow going there by Augustine.
In the context of the game, they will need a lot more than that, particularly in this final over. 80 for 4. They are short, if you ask me. And Shalry comes into Emmanuel. Emmanuel is looking to run this one over the wicket keeper and not making any contact. Shelvin Charles looking to get a run out there.
Yes, Craig Emmanuel have attempted a number of shots outside the off stump, really, and he has missed out on quite a few of the deliveries.
And Emmanuel, he faces up to Shalry. Shalry comes into him, and this one is shot again. Craig Emmanuel looking for that big heave out towards the mid-wicket, missing it completely, and Shalry is bowling a fantastic last over for the Miku Eagles.
Yes, just 5 runs coming off the first 4 deliveries. I mean, he's doing a good job for the Eagles at this point.
Keeping the Monrepo Stars very quiet as the cloud cover has come here. The sun has disappeared behind the clouds here at Boseju, and Shalry comes in. Shot again. Craig Emmanuel looking for that big heave and through to wicketkeeper Shelvin Charles. Probably looking to hit it too hard is Craig Emmanuel, Greg.
Yes, but credit has to be given to Shalry. He's using the conditions to perfection.
He's bowling a fantastic length, a fantastic ball in the final over. He's only gone for 5. He's bowled 1.5 overs, 1 for 15. Final delivery, if it's a legal delivery, and Shalry moves into Emmanuel, who's on 37, 80 for 4. And this time Emmanuel connects it high. Tariq Edward is coming off the boundary. He settles under it and he takes it. Tariq Edward has he's taken some good catches for the Miku Eagles in this tournament.
Yes, one of the better catches we've seen in the tournament. But a good bowling display there by the Miko Eagles to really restrict the Stars to just 80 runs of the 10 overs. Just 8 runs and over should be easy pickings for the Miko Eagles, sorry.
Yep, certainly the Eagles have done they've advantaged the Eagles in the first half of this match. They've restricted the Monrepo Stars to 80 for 5. Only 6 extras. This is really turned out to be a good bowling display by the Miko Eagles. They bowled just 6 extras. We saw many extras being bowled in the beginning of the tournament, and now just 6 extras. And we just take a quick look at the scorecard for the Monrepo Stars. Christian Shalry going the second ball, coming off the outer edge of the bat out towards third man, and well caught by Kirsten Jules. He had to take it on the second attempt. The Christian Shalry went for not. Lesmore was bowled by Sami for 21 of 12. A good little cameo from him, but not the sort of firepower and fireworks we saw from him in yesterday's game at all. Craig Emmanuel, he batted through, got out on the last ball of the innings, 37 from 34. A good innings, but very slow going. Not the strike rate is questionable. Left them stranded at 80 for 5. But the Descartes today again caught substitute Winel Felix of Sami, Lance Sami, for 1 from 2 deliveries. Hazel Chari caught Gavin Serrier of Lance Sami for 5 from 4. And Kevin Augustine, he was not out on 10. Very slow going. Lance Sami really had the better of the Monrepo Stars batsmen, Greg.
Yes, Lance Sami continuing to enjoy a good tournament. He has had some 10 wickets so far in the tournament, 7 prior to the start of today's game, and he picked up some 3 wickets today for just 17 runs. So certainly Sami would be pleased with the effort of the bowlers. Darren Sami, he bowled his 2 overs for 24. He came in for a bit of tap in the first over he bowled, but one could say that he probably was a bit rusty. That's the first time he's bowling in the tournament. But on and on, they'll be very satisfied. We're restricting the team for just 80 runs.
In the semi-finals, you couldn't ask for a better performance from your bowlers. And Michael Shalry pick up a little bit of the highlights here. And Michael Shalry doing the damage very early. This delivery was very wide, and Christian Shalry, going after a very wide one, well caught in the end by Kirsten Jules. And Lesmore getting a wide one again, but this time a little bit more meat on this one, and it went over the head of Kirsten Jules. A pretty similar delivery and almost the same result, but the 6 this Lesmore again taking a liking to Michael Shalry, but Tariq Edward came in very tight, but on this occasion a little over pitching to Craig Emmanuel, and Craig Emmanuel hitting into the covers. Travis Gifford pulling up there with hamstring, and Craig Emmanuel again taking a liking to Darren Sami. Darren Sami hasn't bowled for a while, and Craig Emmanuel really enjoying himself, top edging over the keeper for another 4, having hit him for 6 in the first ball. And Sami again seemed to have liked what Craig Emmanuel was doing. He really liked that shot from Craig Emmanuel, served him another short ball, and Craig Emmanuel taking full advantage. Tariq Edward came in again. He bowled really well, but this time just over pitching outside off to Craig Emmanuel and through the covers for 4. Darren Sami in his second over. Rohan Lesmore taking full advantage of some really short bowling from Darren Sami. Lance Sami came on, and informed Lance Sami, Lesmore hitting him this time, benefiting from a 6. And Lance Sami, very next delivery, inside edge onto the stump, and he's gone. Lance Sami again to Descartes, not getting enough on it. Elevation, but not the distance. Winel Felix, well judged catch, just inside the rope. Kirsten Jules came to the party as well. And Hazel Shalry hitting him through the cover region for 4 from a full toss. Michael Shalry comes in. Hazel Shalry unable to get enough on it at this time. And Gavin Serrier Jr. taking a good catch. Lansami back into the attack. And Craig Emmanuel. The Lansami making a meal of this one. Craig Emmanuel capitalizing, getting 4. Augustine getting a life from Lansami. Lansami did not have the best day out in the field. And Augustine facing up to Shalry this one. Edge found out towards the boundary at fine leg. 4 more. 80 for 4. Craig Emmanuel. Last delivery. Can't beat the fielder at a long one. And Tariq Edward taking another catch in the tournament. He's scored very well in the tournament, Tariq Edward. 80-84-5. The Monrepo Stars having been sent in by the Eagles. A good toss to win today for Darren Sammy, Greg Wilson.
Yes, good toss indeed. And the teams in the last few matches, the captains that have won the toss have always elected to bowl first. And the teams batting second have been very victorious. So hence the reason Darren Sammy would have chosen to bowl first.
Yes, certainly the record shows that it's for some reason the teams chasing here have come out on top, and the bowlers have really done the trick for Darren Sammy today. Lance Sammy being the peak of the bowlers, but he was well backed up by Tariq Edward and Kirsten Jules, as well as Michael Shalry. So they kept things very, very tight for the Miku Eagles, and if you look at the run scored per over here, Greg Wilson, we have only 2 overs. They scored double figures. The first over got 10, and the third over bowled by Darren Sammy, and everything else was a single figure. So the Miku Eagles bowling really did it for them today. Kept things very, very tight, and able to restrict the Monrepo Stars to 80. A total, if you ask me, 81 to win it. Advantage the Miku Eagles in this first semi-finals.
Yes, certainly one would say advantage Miku Eagles. As I indicated to Reds early on, from the matches we've seen from Monday, Tuesday, anything less than 100 runs is woefully short. So certainly they would see themselves at perhaps 25 runs, 30 runs short of where they really should have been.
Certainly, 100 would have been, not even 100 is par here. 100 is something to work with for the bowlers, but anything less than 100, you're already under pressure. And the umpires are out. The Monrepo Stars, they have a big task on their hand. The bowlers have to be right on target, and they need to put some pressure on the Miku Eagles early. What's the way for them, Greg Wilson?
Well, the dismissal of the 2 openers early would be key. We've seen the last 2 games, the Eagles, the openers have not given them the sort of stats that we saw in the qualifiers. And if they could get the likes of Sherwin Charles and Moving Wells early and hope that Mullen Sami does not bail them out of jail today, then they may stand a chance of pulling this one off.
The middle order of the Miku Eagles, the likes of Irvin Frederick and those, even Travis Gifford with his injury, they've not been exposed much. And today, if Monrepo Stars can get the top order early, maybe that could get them under pressure. But Greg Wilson, we're about to see the chase. We'll hear from you, and then after this, it will be Reg Pereira to take you through the first 5 overs of the chase of 81 for the Miku Eagles.
Well, the Monrepo Stars know exactly what has to be done. They need to bowl out the Eagles, or at least bowl very economical if they are to make it to a second trip into the finals. Last year, they lost to South Castries in the finals, Reds, and I'm certain that they would want to get back to the finals, but with 81 to defend, it's a serious uphill task for them.
And they're really just slow. They had their handbrakes on. They just couldn't get ball on to bat. I mean, they were 50 for 1 or 5 5.1. And you look at the innings by Craig Edwards, who have really served them very well in this competition. 37 of 30. That's very slow going. Not a lot of production.
Yes, it was very slow going there by the batters. But one really have to credit the bowling of the Eagles Reds. They did not give them too many freebies.
So Henry starts to bowl to Charles, and Charles covers up. It's a single out in the onside. I think you all made the point when I was off here that Craig Emmanuel was just going too hard. It was not taking his time. There were deliveries that he could have hit over extra cover. He was trying to hit over forward square leg.
Yes, somehow Craig really missed the plot today, Reds.
It's outstanding in the last game, but he didn't quite bring that game. The sweeper has gone way out. This is just slapped away on the offside. So they're doing it in singles right now. Charles and Wells. The left-handed Charles, who's nice looking player on the orthodox side, and no solitary slip as Henry goes outside the line of the off stump and pulled very low, and a good stop, traveling very, very quickly indeed. For our Jamaican audience, Greg, you can talk about these two, their experience, how long they've been around.
Yeah, they both represented St. Lucia.
Charles on strike. Henry. Okay. Pull that. Again, you ask the question, you check the coaching manual. That might suggest that I should have gone an attempt to backward point or square cover. Not easy to hit across the line. Some people can do it if you're a genius like Sir Vivian Richards. Sir Garfield Sovers. Some people play aggressively and attractively by playing orthodox in the V, etc. And pulling up Henry. So 2 without loss. A bit of a disappointment in the semi-finals, only getting 80. It's on the board. You have to get them. This delivery in the air that will in fact advance the total to 8 without loss. Pitched up on about leg stump, middle stump, and hitting to the wider the V with good clean pickup by the left-handed Charles. He's 7. It's 8 without loss. This could be an early finish, but they need to really take wickets if they're going to put any pressure on Miku.
The catch on this occasion, right, is just over pitching this one right into the act of Chauvin Charles and did not need a second invitation.
Henry, Charles digs it out, well bowled. Bowling all the way down towards. But off that completes the opening over. And in search of 81, quite happy. The rate required is just about that. The 8 without loss, 8 without loss. And Miko hasn't really given themselves a chance. But we have seen in 1 or 2 of the early matches where a score like 80 has given people trouble.
Well, a score like 80 would have been in the qualifiers and the early rounds of the group stage. But in the second week of the competition, right, we have noticed that 80 teams would score that perhaps by the 7th over.
Yep. And I make the point, 50 off to 5. And look what they got to. They got to 30 of the last 5. So they got 30 off 30 balls, which is just about a run a ball. And they started so well. It's going to be Lesbon left arm. Outside the off stump and clipped away. There's a sweeper coming off the boundary. He attacks the ball well. strike rotated. Charles back in strike. Wells has gone to 2. Charles is 7, including one huge confident 6 when it was pitched up to him and it went over long on. We've got the sun back at the Darren Sammy, and it's being used as a vaccination center today, well away from the cricketers. Left arm slashed away effort taken by the keeper. And there was one day when, in fact, we had about 50 people who, after taking their vaccines, sat and watched the remaining of the game. That's in the air and using his feet, getting to the pitch and hitting it to a very wide mid-wicket, good clean hit. That's the second 6 he has produced, Charles, as he goes to 13, and the total is 15 without loss.
Yeah, good 6 struck there by Chevron Charles, but I'm just made to understand that the bowler is the brother of Chevron Charles, though.
No brotherly love here. And that was almost a little bit of a bad return to the bowler. He managed to knock it back. So Miku really needed wickets. Will they get an early one? And that's cut away. And a nice looking shot. And we're going straight to the man at that backward one position. So a rare dot ball. This early time. We had many in the first hoiking away. There's no a question asked. Outside the line of leg stump. So 2 overs been completed. After 2 overs needing 81 for victory. 15 without loss. And I think the 2 teams already here, Greg, and getting totally warmed up.
Yes, the Philadelphia Ports and South Castle's Lions next game to follow. That should be, well, one would hope, Brett, we would have a more exciting game than what we have presently.
Yes, well, you dream as a commentator to really have a nail-biter, high scoring, but you have to deal with what performance is in front of you. Henry to move in. He's going to be bowling to Wells. Well, this is only 2 off 2. He hasn't seen much of the strike.
दो ओवर 1 बॉल 15 रन। बिल्स खेल रहे हैं 3 ओवरों में 2 रन। हेनरी की ये बॉल और बिल्स ने मारा 4 रन गई। एल्स का बेहतरीन चौका। एक और सिंगल रन। अच्छी बोले और कोई सिंगल रन नहीं। 44 बोलने में इसका 61 रन की जरूरत है।
Away through the square leg area, pitched up outside the leg stump, and he just whipped it away. More runs. Miko moving even further on, has gone up to 24. 24 without loss. This is not what the Monroe doctor required. I think the Monroe doctor was saying they should be about 2 wickets down now.
Yeah, they would have loved to have at least 2 or 3 wickets, right? If they seriously were going to restrict the Miko Eagles below that score of 81.
Charles is 17 off 12. And Henry bowling over the wicket. Solitary slip. The left arm goes to the left-hander who hits that high over the head of the mid-off and just dropping inside the long-off boundary. So runs are coming at a very nice clip without going too hard. Well put away by Charles, who's at 21, none for 28. The third over is completed, and just about now, you really need your captain to lift the players. They tend to maybe body language starts to get a little flat at this time with no success.
Yes, they look flat out in the field, right? As you did indicate, nobody seems to be encouraging the bowler or the fieldsmen. They're just going through the motion, basically. Very productive last over there for the Eagles. Some 14 runs coming off the over. The current rate now is at 9.33, and the required rate is just 7.57. So the required rate, the current rate has gone past the required rate. So they are certainly in charge now.
Well, 7 off 5 will be in strike. Charles making the front running in a very organized way at 21 of 13. And we're going to have Augustin coming into the attack. Tall, rangy, bowled fast off spinners in the previous games. And that's what he'll pitch up now. He's short, and that's pulled out to mid-wicket. They take one, they wouldn't take any more. But he bowled at a much better length when we saw him earlier. He bowled quite quickly as an off-spinner.
Well, Red, actually, he's a fast bowler, but because of injury, he's coming off just a few pace.
Well, at least he's got the skill to do that and still makes himself a valuable member of the side. He's going around the wicket to bowl to the left-handed Charles, and Charles pulls that out towards the long on. They come back for the second after a little hesitation. So the runs ticking over for the Miko Eagles as they march on here. The Eagles have been flying high in this competition, except a major upset yesterday. As Darren Sammy said, if you're going to lose one before the semifinals. He's off the back foot now. The length has not been good enough. It's important in this kind of format that you keep the ball up. You limit the options of shots. Hitting that high towards cover and giving enough room there to free the hands. And a muscle shot. Hard off the back foot. Charles goes to 27. Wells is 8. It's none for 35. Over number 5. Over number 5. Over number 4, correction. And that's hit down towards back with square. Good bit of feeling. It was short and rushing down to a backward square. It's again looking for that shot in that area, pitching up and driving out to the wide long on position. So good balance in in picking up runs. The boundaries are coming, but they're quite happy to look to turn the strike over. So we've had 4 overs completed, and after 4 is completed, 36 without loss. Charles is 28, and his partner Wells on 8.
Well,
and the Eagles are on course.
Well, just making a quick comparison to the Monrepo's batting at the very same stage. After 4, they were 46, but it was 46 for 1.
Yes. Well, I mean, up to 50. They were 50 for 1 or 5.1, and then they lost their way. They just couldn't get the ball away, despite a lot of muscle shots making no contact. A bit of spin. No, it wouldn't be a spin. Will it? He's not too sure what he's going to bowl. The keeper is standing up, so I will assume that it's going to be spin, yes. Off the back foot, nice looking shot. That's going to run away down towards the back foot point here. Good stop, Bo. Making a meal of it as he finally gets control. I thought they would be looking for the second run. Probably didn't take advantage.
But a good piece of fielding there by the fielder. Reds is putting in the dive, and the ball was going over the rope, and somehow he was able to keep one leg.
Yes, he was searching for the ball. That's again short. Again hit down to his backward point. So not really bowling tight enough to just slow the rate down and build a bit of pressure. 38 without loss. We are in the 5th over. And Shelby wants a change. He wants a man to... Well, there's no mid-wicket now. There is, well, there is one, yes. There's no one on the boundary, I should say. No long on. That's hit well over the long off. And long off and long on out. And that is well over the head of Greg Emmanuel, but nice timing, not a lot of power. More timing there, Greg.
Yes, good use of the feet and really hitting this one inside out.
Shari goes in. He's on to 36 with that. You will get more now as he gets it over the rope at that backward square position. So really, this is a fine opening partnership. 48 already. Well, Miku had a good opening period. They were 50 for 1 and then lost their way. Miku, I don't think, will make the same mistake, but you never know. Again, short and dropped at the mid-off position. Laying back, deliberately trying to hit maybe over the top. It seemed to be a fairly a regulation. Perhaps he got both hands up to it. So, missed opportunity there, Greg.
Yes, missed time shot there by Chauvin, looking to go over the infield. The fielder Red just missed time the jump to the next end, but got both hands to it and could not hold on.
Shari goes over the wicket now. He's bowling to Wells, who's been quite quiet. He got 8, not had a lot of strike. This delivery eventually pulled out on the onside, down by the boundary. They amble second run. So the runs are flowing as the 50 come up. 51 exactly on the board. 51 of 4.6. That's the end of the 5th over. So needing now just 30. Just 30 to get into the finals. And I think it's all over bar the shouting, unless there'll be a couple of hat tricks. It's more from you and then Clive is choose.
Yes, at the halfway stage, the Monrepo Eagles, they are certainly flying high. The Stars are not picking up the wickets that would require to slow down the scoring, and with just a small total of 81, some 31 of the next 5 overs, it could be all over by the shouting Tigers.
Yes, certainly, and Moripu Stars will need some good disciplined bowling, penetrative bowling from here on in if they are to be in with a chance. Some 30 needed from 30 balls, and it's a runner ball, so it's essentially a walk in the park for the Eagles at the rate they're going. They're well ahead of the required rate at the minute. The required rate is only 6 per over, and they're scoring at 10.20. Descartes bowls to Charlton. Charlton getting the inside edge out towards the short fine leg. Inside edge, Charles looking to play this one into the offside, but the length was good from Descartes on this occasion. Inside edge out towards short fine leg, and they just come through for 1.
And perhaps he was looking to hit this one too hard. Really lost his shape, lost the timing, but luckily for him, did not ricochet onto the left, onto the stump.
Playing the French cut. So this one is the Miku cut on this occasion, and fortunately for him, he didn't hit the stumps or disturb the woodwork. And unfortunately for Descartes, getting the inside edge and not getting the woodwork on this occasion. Wells is on strike now, 52 without loss, moving Wells and shoving Charles. They batted really well during this tournament and continue to do so in this first semi-finals. The two, they have put on a good 52, and Wells faces up to Descartes, just shot outside off and guided down towards the third man. Henry does the fielding there, DK Henry, and they're restricted to just a single. Wells is very circumspect today. He's just playing a supportive role today.
Yes, very much so. Chauvin is the one who is very much on the attack. So it's nice to see a reversal of roles today.
A good reversal as well as Descartes moves in. He's had to press the reset button. He turns away from the players' pavilion end and moves into Chauvin, and Chauvin is off the back foot. There's a miscommunication, and now the single will be taken off the back foot. Chauvin looking to play this one out towards the backward point boundary, but the fielder just moving very quickly to his right, and that's Gaston making a good stop, but the extra still giving with the over first.
Yes, good pick up there by the fieldsman, and shy at the stump. Direct hit perhaps would have found Chauvin Charles.
तो अपने साथ अभी 7 लाइव व्यूअर हैं, वो ऐड हो चुके हैं, तो सभी का वेलकम है। 14 अपने वॉचिंग है वो आ चुकी है, और अपने जो व्यूअर है सभी का वेलकम करता हूँ। तो सभी के सभी लाइव को लाइक कर दीजिए, सभी से रिक्वेस्ट है मेरी, ठीक है। और लाइव में अपने बात करते हैं, ठीक है। हेलो भाई, हाँ सभी का वेलकम है। अरे भाई कोइंस की बात मत करो, यहाँ पे सिर्फ अपना क्रिकेट का एंजॉय करो। मैं आप सभी को क्रिकेट का एंजॉय करने के लिए यहाँ पे लेके आया हूँ, ठीक है। सभी से रिक्वेस्ट है जल्दी से जल्दी वीडियो को लाइक जरूर करो और बने रहो, और कमेंट जितने भी हो सकते हैं कमेंट करो, ठीक है। अपने यहाँ पे अभी बातें करेंगे, जो भी बातें करनी है आपको बोलो, ठीक है। ऑफर आपको सब मिलेगा, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है भाई। अभी आपने लाइव का मजा लेने आए हैं, क्रिकेट मैच चल रहा है, ठीक है। एमई वर्सेस एमआरएस, ठीक है। ये अभी लाइव मैच चल रहा है, इसमें आप सभी अब देख सकते हो, ठीक है। तो मैच का इंटरेस्ट लीजिए आप जो भी हो, और अपने साथ में बातें करते हैं। तो जिसने भी लाइक किया और थैंक यू, ठीक है। सभी का थैंक यू है। तो जल्दी से जल्दी कुछ बातें करते हैं, तो लाइव पे बने रहिएगा, ठीक है। हाँ जरूर भाई, आपको जरूर सपोर्ट करेंगे यार, क्यों नहीं करेंगे। सभी को सपोर्ट करेंगे। अपने किसको सपोर्ट चाहिए बताओ। अभी आपके आप बता रहे हो शो हाय बिने में क्या बोल रहे हैं। हाय भाई, मैं यूट्यूब पर हूँ, कैरम जोन, मुझे सपोर्ट करो। हाँ जरूर होगा भाई सपोर्ट। ओके भाई, आप कहाँ से हो। मैं भाई राजस्थान से हूँ। सभी से रिक्वेस्ट है कि वीडियो को लाइक करें, लाइव पे बने रहिए भाइयों, ठीक है। आपको बहुत ही अच्छा लगेगा। लाइव मैच आपके सामने चल रहा है, आप देख सकते हो, ठीक है। क्रिकेट का मजा लीजिए। जो क्रिकेट में इंटरेस्टेड है, मैंने जिन्हें चुने जो अपने भाई लोग हैं उन सभी उनको इनवाइट किए, मैंने सभी को इनवाइट नहीं किया, ठीक है। तो सभी से रिक्वेस्ट है कि लाइव पे बने रहिए, जो फ्री है और जिनको अगर काम है थोड़ा सा बिजी है तो वो अपना काम कर सकते हैं, ऐसा नहीं है। बाकी आप लाइव पे बने रहिए ताकि हमें भी थोड़ा सा अच्छा लगे कि आप हमारे साथ ऐड हुए लाइव पे, ठीक है। तो लाइव देखते रहिए। ST लुसिया ब्लास्ट 8010 2021 ये लीग है, ये है, ठीक है। तो इसका ये सेमीफाइनल मैच चल रहा है अभी। तो टोटल जो इसका टारगेट था वो 81 है, ठीक है। मैच का जो इसका जो रन का टारगेट है 81 है और 63 अब हो चुके, 0 आउट है, ठीक है। और उसके बाद चार्लिज 25 बॉल्स पे रन है इसका। उसके बाद बेल्स है उसका 20 और 11 बॉल्स पे, ठीक है। तो सुनिए दोस्तों, अगर कुछ कमेंट्री में अगर आपको कुछ लगे तो मेरे को क्रिकेट में मतलब इतना नहीं इंटरेस्ट नहीं है, बट फिर भी आप सभी के लिए मैं लेके आऊँ, ठीक है, क्रिकेट का लाइव मैच। तो सभी के सभी एंजॉय कीजिए। वीडियो को लाइक जरूर करिए और अपने दोस्तों के साथ शेयर करिए। कोई मतलब, हाँ, हाय दिलीप भाई, हाय। मेरा नाम सद्दाम, हाँ भाई सद्दाम भाई वेलकम है आप सभी का। मेरा नाम लो भाई सद्दाम भाई का वेलकम है। दानिश शेख भाई, भाई अपने कॉइन्स कब तक आएंगे आईडी में? आ जाएंगे भाई जल्दी, टेंशन मत लो आप। कॉइन्स की बात यहाँ पे मत करो यार। अर्जुन जाधव भाई आपका वेलकम है, ठीक है। सभी का वेलकम करता हूँ भाई, सभी का। राज खान हाय ब्रो, हाय। इवे इवे जो हाय ब्रदर, सभी का वेलकम है, सभी का। तो लाइक जरूर करें, जो भी है वीडियो के नीचे लाइक जरूर करें और बने रहे हमारे साथ, ठीक है। ये वो ये आप देख सकते हो। ये देखो, बोल उस पार चली गई तो बॉल को लाने के लिए दीवार से छलांग लगा के चेक कर रहे हैं। इनके पास बॉल की कमी है, ये आप देख सकते हो, इनके पास बॉल की कमी है। और ये क्रिकेट मैच और स्टार्ट कर लिए इन्होंने। आप सभी को मजा आ रहा होगा ये सब देख के, ठीक है। तो ये आप देख लो यार, बहुत ही बढ़िया और बहुत ही शानदार ये यहाँ पे जो मैच है वो चलता हुआ, ठीक है। ये आप देख सकते हो, जो बॉलर है इमानुएल, इसका इनके नाम भी कुछ अजीब से होते हैं। अपने इंडिया में तो इजी से नाम होते हैं, इनका नाम भी पता नहीं किस टाइप से नाम होते हैं इनके। बाकी चलो, अपने नाम से क्या रहना, अपने को मैच में इंटरेस्ट लेना, साथ में आपसे करते हैं बातें, ठीक है। भाई क्या हाल चाल है? बढ़िया है भाई, जय करिया भाई, बढ़िया है। आप बताओ, ठीक है। उसके बाद मजीद अनवर हाय, कैसे हो? ये भाई अपने दुबई से हैं शायद, ठीक है। और हाय दिलीप भाई, आसिफ इकबाल भाई, आप बताओ आप कैसे हो? बढ़िया हैं, क्या हाल है भाई? सत्यम महाल भाई, बढ़िया है, आप बताओ। IPL का भी लाइव आना था ना भाई? भाई IPL का लाइव आएगा, बट नहीं है ये अभी। देखो T10 लीग है, ये अपने इंडिया में नहीं है, ये बाहर है, ठीक है। तो IPL तो कुछ रीजन की वजह से ये नहीं चल पाया था, तो उसकी वजह से IPL का लाइव भी ऑफ हो गया था। IPL का लाइव नहीं चल पाया, बट अभी जो भी चल रहा है, जो भी आपके सामने है चल रहा है, आप इंजॉय करिए मैच को, बढ़िया। और वीडियो को लाइक जरूर करिएगा। और जितने भी आपके दोस्त मैच से रिलेटिव इंटरेस्टेड है, उनको मैच, क्रिकेट का जो मैच है वो देखना उनको बढ़िया लगता है, तो उनको लाइव है ये शेयर करिए, जितना भी जल्दी उसके शेयर करो, ताकि वो भी अपने साथ जुड़े और अपने से बातें करें, और ताकि लाइव का मजा लें, ठीक है। और उसके बाद में अगर आपको, अभी देखो टारगेट बिल्कुल पास में है दोस्तों, बिल्कुल पास में है, ठीक है। अभी रिप्ले आप देख सकते हो, रन रेट ये भी आप देख सकते हो। ये देखो, ये 6 रन जाते हुए। तो आज आप दिलीप की लाइव वॉइस सुन रहे हो, ठीक है। सभी से रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ कि वीडियो पर लाइक जरूर करो यार। ये एक 6 कैच आउट नहीं हुआ, ये नहीं हुआ कैच आउट। यहाँ पे थोड़ा मिस फील्डिंग थी और थोड़ा शॉट था, वो घास से फिसल गया बंदे के, तो इसकी वजह से ये मिस फील्डिंग हुआ। देखो ये आउट होने वाला था, बट ये थोड़ा सा फिसल गया, इसकी वजह से आउट भाई, आउट सॉरी, आउट हो गया ये, सॉरी आउट हो गया ये, सॉरी माय मिस्टेक, इसका नहीं मिस्टेक, मेरा मिस्टेक हो गया यार। चलो कोई बात नहीं। तो ऐसा कैसे यार, सभी के सभी चले गए, अपने लाइव पे आए थे। बैठो यार, बातें करते हैं कुछ टाइम तक। कहाँ भाग रहे हो यार, भागे जा रहे हो आप तो। आराम से बैठ के बातें करते हैं ना अपने।
We'll see if Chauvin Charles gives him the opportunity to do so, as the sun is being blocked off, but it returns in all its glory here at the Darren Sammy grounds. Craig Emmanuel will be bowling to the left-handed Chauvin Charles, who's on 43, and Chauvin Charles is pushing this one into the onside, a delivery that is pitched on about a leg stump, and pushing it into the onside comes through for one. The 4 runs required from 19 balls. One more ball from Craig Emmanuel. He's gone for 14 in his over. He's taken 1 wicket, but just a little too late for the Bonripo Stars, one would say, Greg.
Yes, too late. They were always under pressure with just a moderate score of just 80.
And it's Craig Emmanuel for what will be his last ball, if it's a legal one, into Mulan Sami. Shot, and Mulan Sami is just working this one out towards third man. And what a way to finish. Third man boundary beaten there, and 4 more. And that's it's supposed to be the end for the Miku Eagles. That's it. Mulan Sami just coming to do the formality of hitting the winning runs. And who better to do it than Mulan Sami? He's bailed them out twice. So today, a bit of a light work for Mulan Sami, Greg.
Yes, convincing victory there for the Monrepo. For the Miku Eagles, winning in exactly 7 overs with some 18 balls to spare. We did indicate from very early that the score of 81 would not have been something that the Stars would have been able to defend. If they were to do that, they would have had to make very early inroads into the batting of the Eagles. But well played to Darren Sami and the Miku Eagles.
And congratulations also to the Darren Sami and the Miku Eagles. They've found themselves in the finals. The new kids on the block, a new team. Darren Sami putting together the Miku Eagles himself and the Chauvin Charles moving wells, taking players from all over. And new kids on the block, but they were into the finals for the first time. So congratulations to them, and hard luck to the Monrepo Stars. A valiant effort from them there, but today 80 was just not going to be enough. And we will go to the on-field crew as we take we hear from the 2 captains.
Christian, it can be a pretty cruel game.
Yeah, it can, especially when you don't execute like you're supposed to. I think we had a plan going into this, and the plan basically fell to shreds when the first two batsmen started batting well, and that's something that we would want to work on.
Once you got out early, let's flash back a little bit. How much of an impact did that have?
I'd like to think not that much, because I think we have a really capable batting order. I think from 1 to 11 we have guys who could play sensible shots and sensible cricket. So myself getting out early I would like to say shouldn't really have affected our batting that much. So it's just a matter of one less person being able to get a total.
And somehow they were restricted and they weren't able to get a total that you were looking for.
Yeah, the kudos to the Miku bowlers. They bowled really, really well, especially towards the back end, and our batsmen were not able to capitalize. Unfortunately, our bowlers were not able to replicate that. So I think that's where we really fell short.
All right, all the best, Christian.
Thank you.
We're trying to get Darren Sami. The Miku Eagles franchise has certainly established itself in this year's T10 Blast.
Yes, we achieved what we came out to do. Today, play a good game, think our bowlers really brought it back after that great start that they had. And the two guys Monipo didn't want came and punished them in the end. So I'm quite happy. We've got one more step to go, whether it be South Castries or Swizzell. I think our guys are back on track.
And your batsmen were pretty clinical in the response.
Yes, these two guys, before they left, they said nobody else needs to pad up, So they were quite confident, and I think especially Mervyn and Chauvin, that was the game, the matchup they were both looking for. And to see the way they played, really, really good.
But you can't afford to be complacent at this point.
Our guys know that. Cricket is what you do each match. Whatever has happened today, we're going to enjoy. But tomorrow is another opportunity, and we'll be ready.
All the best.
Thank you. Charlo, good luck.
You've heard from Christian Shalry of the Monipo Stars, dejected-looking Christian Shalry. Must have been very disappointed with their performance today. And you also heard from Darren Sammy, a very happy-looking man there, Darren Sammy. A new franchise coming together, and they're very excited about them making it all the way through to the finals on their first attempt, Greg.
Yes, good effort indeed by Darren Sammy and the Eagles. Would have been very painful, I could imagine, for the Monipo Stars, saying that they are beaten by two former players. But take nothing away from them, they batted well.
They moving Wells and Chauvin Charles. They've been batting well all tournament long. There was a bit of a wobble the last couple of games for them, which required Merlan Sami to rescue them. But today they're back on track, and a very good opening stance. A good shot all around the wicket for both players. But Chauvin Charles, I thought today he was right on point. And he took his team home.
Yes, Chauvin